waiting
we're
room?
all back in now.
Yeah. How do you do that?
All right, I got you.
Sleep.
Hold on. Where'd Nick go? Oh, there he is.
Boys and girls.
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to do it like that? This? All right, we'll do it like that. Never mind. Oh, shit.
We ready?
Yep.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Nick.
Good Monday afternoon, man. Football's in the air. It's camp week. How y'all feeling?
Man, I'm beat. I rushed from the airport. To be on with you boys, we were delayed. All sorts of issues at airports these days. So we're delayed, got in. Excited to be with you boys. It's been a hell of a day. So
What was the airport bar situation, Dan?
no airport bars, man. Was
Closed?
Was in Pennsylvania. It was closed. It was in some smaller airports, so it was in the
It was in Quaker County.
where was I? I was in the Harrisburg airport today, and they don't really have much going on. They have some, but not much. But I got there like 45 minutes before the flight because there's like 11 people that fly out of this airport every day. Plane arrives on time. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And they have this new girl that was like scanning in everybody's ticket for the flight. But I guess she was like on the wrong setting. So the first like 35 people she checked into the flight, it didn't like count into like the loading or to the boarding document. So she had to go bring everybody off the plane, reload everybody. We're like an hour late. It's just a nightmare, But we're home safe. That's all you can ask for.
That sounds like a disaster.
It is what it is. But had a great weekend. It was like in the 60s and 70s up there. I was up there with my girlfriend and her family. Just great time up there. So
Nice.
how about you guys?
My weekend wasn't that eventful. Relaxing. Got to chill. Didn't have to go through Orlando and work this weekend. So just family time. Got to chill with the wife. Got to chill with the kids. Catch up on some TV. Relaxation, man. It was hot out too. I didn't really want to go outside, bro. I walk outside, that sun was like tapping me on the shoulder, so I had to go back inside. Nick, what you getting to?
Hey, you sure? You sure about this move? You're like,
sure
no,
you
you're
wanna
right.
do this?
You're right. I'm going back in the AC.
Fam, I sat in Publix parking lot for 20 minutes contemplating like if I was parked close enough to make this run, man. It was so hot.
I saw that you said you circled the parking lot like 8 times trying to find a parking spot.
Yes, bro. Usually I'm like, okay, this is good, some good walking and cardio. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what if I park far away. It's good cardio, good. But man, it's different type of heat going on this August.
Is that just me? Does anyone else like drive around and like I'm going to the gym, so I'm obviously going to work out.
Yeah.
But I will drive around the gym parking lot for 15 minutes trying to get a close spot. It makes no sense, but I can't stop myself from doing it once I get there.
I'll be honest with you, Nick. I used to be like that, but then it got to a point where I'm like, man, I'm spending more time driving around trying to find a spot. By the time that I park and walk, like if I saved like 6 seconds, like maybe I save 6 seconds, but unless it's like pouring down rain, I just park. I mean, it pisses people off that I'm with, but I just got a place to be.
I hate being in the car with a guy that circles the parking lot 5 times just to save himself 3 parking spots. Like, bro, you just saved us 3 spots. We could have walked. Like, it's 3 spots.
I'm telling you.
I need to work on that. There you go. That's my thing to work on now.
I can, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Nick, football season is almost on us. A couple days away. We talked about it last week, but August 6th is the first day of practice. The university announced it. Was it today or yesterday that they officially announced August 6th? But
we got an email today. Like the local media got an email on Monday saying that Thursday we'll talk to Dan Mullen, and they said 5 to 6 players. We don't know who the players are. Fall media day used to be huge. It used to be you talk to head coach, coordinators, and then they'd bring in 20 guys from offense, 20 from defense. And it might be COVID. I'm guessing it's COVID related. Like, hey, we don't need to bring out a ton of people. But yeah, that'll be Thursday. To kick off fall camp, and so that Thursday means camp officially starts for the team. That's when everyone has to be back on campus. They have their meetings and do all that. First day of practice will be Friday. And then we talked a little bit last week about how different fall camp is going to be because you can't have back-to-back days of full hitting practice. Now the no padded practice, it went from 5 days to 7. They've changed a bunch of different things for fall camp. So not just Florida. It's going to be everyone around. That the changes were made after a 5-year study into head trauma and CTE. But I think, and like I said last week, I think it's going to lead to some sloppy play early on in the year, kind of like what we saw, last year from all around the country. Even Alabama, looked suspect against Ole Miss, but they figured it out towards the end of the year.
That's awesome, man. Well, we are looking forward to it. We will be a absolutely smoke-filled content factory next week in terms of what's coming out of a fall camp, and we got a lot of exciting stuff that we've been in the works. Big on the smoke. So some housekeeping things. One, a bunch of new stuff is going to be dropping on stadiumandgale.com on our shop over the next couple of weeks. Also, we're going to be looking for writers for the fall. We are trying to put out blog posts, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to write, doesn't have to be a full-time gig for you or anything else. We do offer a small stipend, but anybody in journalism school, anybody that wants to do it for fun, we have opportunities abound for that. We've got Harrison, who's coming on campus soon to do some more student outreach and things of that nature. So I'm excited to bring him on board. We got a lot of stuff. So if you are anybody in the content space, the digital space, advertising or marketing space, anything, we are always looking for help, and we always want to try to fairly compensate you for that as well. So please reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be. We'll point you in the right direction. So with that out of the way, guys, Home Field Apparel. We had a big partnership with them last week, and once you know that Gator Nation is full of big bread, they were set records on a first day launch. They beat the school that had previously the highest launch day ever, Notre Dame, by 176% on the first day.
That's wild.
So
Notre Dame's is over what, 9 days?
I think so.
7 days, something like that.
I don't remember. All I know is that as of launch day, Florida was 176% above where Notre Dame was, whether they did a launch week or a launch day. But I would imagine, based on the tweets and everything else that we are tagged and everything else, that they sold, what do you guys think? A couple $100,000 worth of merch?
I'd have to guess that there was a lot of people that reached out and said, hey, thanks, use your code. And we appreciate you using our code. All our code does is save you money. So we appreciate you using that. It lets them know that, you guys are listening to us. But yeah, the graphic they put out was wild because I think the way that they calculate their numbers is they do a big news Saturday every week. So I think you get like 24 to 36 hours to get your initial sales. And like within 3 hours, Florida was in third place. Like I had already beaten everybody, then passed LSU, in the second hour, and then I was just chasing Notre Dame, and that didn't take long.
So I'll be honest with you, the Florida line that dropped is amongst the best that they have. I mean, just in terms of the difference of design, the uniqueness of them, bringing back a lot of really old retro stuff. Florida's had some really cool graphics and logos over time. So
y'all got your package?
Yeah,
Bro, I was about to say none of us are even wearing the shirts. That's a foul.
That is a foul. You didn't get your shirt, Silk.
No, I'd be wearing the drip right now if I had it, my boy.
Oh man, you should have got it last
I think
week.
the kid size is shipped later.
Oh,
yeah, they only printed the adult sizes first. And
okay, very, very, very well played, Nick. I got you.
Hey, Silk, I'll follow up about that tomorrow. You should have gotten it late last week.
Nah, bro, I haven't got anything.
I got 2 shirts. I got my 2-bit shirt, and I got the I think the logo was from like the Charlie Pell age. It was like it said like the Florida Gators. It was a gray shirt. It was like the marching Gator with a helmet on.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I checked my mailbox after I seen you post your package, pause. And I didn't see anything. So I was like, oh, I'll check up.
That was supposed to be in the DMs. I didn't post it.
Man, oh man, but still check them out. You can still use a Stadium and Gale promo code. I don't know for how long, so maybe you maybe you weren't on online this weekend and weren't able to check it out. Whenever you go to the store, homefieldapparel.com, I didn't even know we had a promo code last week, so that's my apologies. But you can use Stadium and Gale at checkout. You'll get 15% off. I think if you spend $70, you get free shipping as well. So buy yourself $100 worth of stuff. Support the university. Obviously, it's licensed stuff there. Support the university and get yourself some brand new drip for the fall season. I have a feeling you're going to see those shirts everywhere.
I told you they were comfortable too.
Yeah, like Nick, I got a lot of DMs about appreciate the coupon code. People sending me screenshots of their purchases. So a lot of big bread was spent. You right, Dan, the big bread in the field, man. You already know the vibes, man. And shout out to Home Field for coming to mess with it. They got to come holler at the flagship.
That's it.
Steve Miguel,
Hey, and that's wild because that's wild. When you look at Notre Dame and people talk about Notre Dame being, a huge donor base and A&M, some of those schools, but the Florida fans just smashed these sales records. And listen, the shirts are high quality. It's good shirts, and I like the designs. I love the vintage look. I think as Dan was talking about when we're, updating our apparel, I think we'll have some more kind of vintage looking stuff as well. Because to me, at least, that stuff looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. So check out fieldapparel.com. Other piece of house keeping out last week. We've got a guest from the Challenge, Hunter Barfield. He's going to be actually on next week. He's dealing with some medical things with his family, so he's going to be on next week. So wait and check out that next week. But Hunter Barfield from the Challenge, MTV's reality show, celebrating their 40-year anniversary. TV is, so congratulations to them. But he'll be on next week if you're looking forward to that interview. But with that being said,
what was your favorite? Real quick, what's your favorite MTV? Real world house, like city. What city did you like?
See, so when Dan told us that we were gonna have Hunter on, I knew who he was because I was a big real world road rules guy growing up, huge challenge guy now.
You still watch it? I used to be a huge.
I haven't watched it in a little while. The last one I watched, so Hunter, the way they had the show designed is I think it was called vendettas or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you were the person that you had beef with. And the winner of that season, you would have the last one is always like a race. So whoever won the race, that team won. But then each individual partner had their own time. So it was $1 million. And the girl that Hunter was teamed up with won $1 million. And it's like, hey, do you want to split $1 million with him or you want to keep $1 million for yourself? And in the most savage move in challenge history, she said, he's been slut shaming me, been talking down to me, this, and that. He's not getting a damn thing. And I was like, oh my God. And her reasoning for it was that, and I didn't steal money from him. I just didn't give him $500,000 of my own dollars. And I was like, all right, well, I get that.
That happened a couple seasons before. I think the season before.
I think that was in 2018. That was
but a couple seasons before that, Johnny Bananas did that too.
Johnny Bananas stole from my girl Sarah. I love Sarah.
Yeah, had the opportunity to split the money. That was Sarah's last time on the show too. Johnny Bananas knocked her out forever. I
mean, I've seen people get shot for less, fellas.
Yes, no, $500,000. $500,000.
That's a lot of money to be playing with.
I watched an entire season in the last 2 days of the challenge to get ready for this interview. I'm ready. I'm ready for Hunter whenever he comes on.
Yeah, no, we got Hunter. I've always been a big CT fan.
CT, that's my guy.
Been a Johnny Bananas fan.
I was never a Johnny Bananas fan. Then I've come around on him.
Yeah, I see that. I like Cara Maria. I like a lot of the older names. Some of the newer names from some of these
I don't know.
Once they started adding
Hunter's from You Are the One. I was like,
Are You the One? Yeah.
Are You the One? And
I don't know what's going on.
I haven't watched it.
Once they added in
all these new names to the real world. So
they started adding in Love Island, like the British and Australian reality TV shows. Once they started adding them in, I kind of lost it. But they're not even doing real world
coming
anymore.
Out for a lot of those UK people.
Yeah, they're not even doing real world anymore. They haven't done road rules in
it's too many years. Real world knockoffs. They just rename it and reformat it, but everybody took the blueprint from MTV on that.
My favorite house. Who did I really love? I love the New Orleans house.
That was
I like the Paris one.
Austin. I liked Austin. I actually met Danny from Austin. I liked Key West. I think New York was the Miz.
Who's the one?
He's like a WWE champion now, and he was like a reality TV show star.
Yeah,
and now he's the world champion in fake wrestling.
There's a guy named Kahada that I really liked. I think that was Sydney
remember
or somewhere in Australia.
Dude, I wanted to be on. I wanted to be on the Real World so bad.
College, you know.
Do you ever want to be on that show?
Heck yeah, I wanted to be on that show.
Bro. I ain't gonna lie.
You applied?
Hell yeah, I did.
Dang, that would have been crazy. We actually tried to stay in the Key West house because it's a house that's on like Airbnb now. Prices was a little rich for our college blood at the time, though. You
can stay at some of the challenge houses that they have. You can stay at. I think you can stay at the one in Austin, the one in New York. I think the houses have
started to change. Now they just like rent because they like rent like warehouses because they need to have the crew sleeping with them. So it's not even like really a house. Like the Key West house is actually like a gigantic mansion on the water in Key West.
Man. Well, why don't we dive into this a little bit more next week? What do you think?
There you go.
There you go.
Into some old school pop culture talk, man. I'm with it. You know, that was fun.
I love it.
We need to find Silk's audition tape, and we need to play that. Yeah, that's what we need.
They found my mixtape. They can't find the MTV tape. If I get famous on it, they might leak it out.
Yeah, we need to find that.
Oh man! All right,
I was shirtless for sure.
Oh, definitely. I can definitely see you shirtless. You probably had some tequila, you know, maybe something in your hand, probably throwing all sorts of jokes and there it is. You know, you've not changed much.
No. Just the abs aren't the same, but you know, ego is not the same either. But you know,
but the jokes, you would have been a good member of the Real World. I think that you would be the best member that I know that would have been on Real World.
Was it, out of everybody you know?
I think you're up there, and I'm not just saying that because you're funny. You've got jokes. You're smart. You're hardworking, but I can also see you ruffling some feathers and getting into, especially back then. You
don't need to be hardworking back then. Yeah. Back then, it was like, hey, we need you to make 8 coffees in 8 hours at Starbucks, and they were like, no, I'm not trying to do that.
What was the one where they were
that halftime job?
I think Real World, you gotta be good. Like to be good at Real World, you gotta be a bit of a troll. And a little bit funny and a little bit of partier. I'd have been a lead at that joint. To be honest, Dan. What you about to say?
I don't remember.
You about to say something important? I could tell.
Probably, but the show goes on. That was a good thought too that I had.
It doesn't sound like it.
We're going to be 45 minutes into this show, and I'm gonna remind myself what it was. But all right, boys, big weekend at Friday Night Lights. I want to say something. This does not represent Saban Gale. This represents Dan Thompson. I know that a lot of people aren't happy with recruiting on the offensive line and in other areas. And I think that it's perfectly fine and acceptable to call out coaches. It's perfectly fine and acceptable to call out position groups as a whole. But I think it's real weird. And I think it's very tacky when you tag prospects, when you screenshot their rivals profile or 247 profile that shows that they don't have any stars or 2 stars or 3 stars. These kids are working their ass off to try to, get an opportunity to play college, football somewhere or college sport anywhere. These kids did nothing wrong where their skill set lies or artificial sense of superiority of where you are. But don't call out these kids by name. Don't screenshot their profiles. Don't stop trolling on the internet. It's not a good look. I understand like the jokes fly sometimes, but these kids are working their ass off to try to get an opportunity and making this personal, about them, I think is very tacky. So that's something that I saw a lot over the last couple of days, and I hate it for those kids and just be better than that, man.
Also, like, not just the kids too, like these coaches are like fathers, moms, parents, they're like men, like I think adding some of these dudes and getting disrespectful about, bro, we fans, you know what I'm saying? I'm passionate about this as well. I get it, but you gotta reel in a little bit, man. The people, they're not performing their job well. I already fired Heavy C on the show. People want me to fire him every day on Twitter when I wake up in the morning. I got more important things to do than fire Heavy C every morning. He ain't recruiting right. I don't like the development. I ain't got to say that every day. I already said it on the podcast. He's also got a family, and I don't want to be bashing him and talking crazy about him because he has a family just like I got a family, man. I know I know how people could get in your mentions talking crazy.
Well, is there a difference when you're saying stuff like that to a 50-something-year-old man who makes $1 million a year versus a 17-year-old kid who's just trying to work and get offers?
I think everybody just needs to be spoken to with respect. You know, like
I hear that.
Like any age, of course, the kids, yeah, definitely, that's way out of bounds. But also, these are grown men with jobs and all that stuff. Like, we're fans, man. So it's like people take the fandom too far and get disrespectful and call people out of their names and a lot of stuff in their mentions over what fandom. You know, like.
And I promise you that these guys have a lot more to lose than you. These salaries, yes, they're big. Yes, they can be inflated, but these coaches are working their butts off. They're, they've got a job on the line, and if they don't deliver, they're going to get fired. They're going to let go. And I mean, I would hate if somebody.
That's the mad. They don't know if they're going to get fired. Like,
well, I mean, you can argue some of that.
I don't think John's worried about getting fired anytime soon.
John's comfy.
But I mean, not even, and this isn't just, about him. I think that this is just like a general comment, in general, these guys have a lot to lose, for themselves, their families, if they get fired, they have to pick up, a lot of them have kids that are in school, they pick up, move somewhere else, they have to start new lives and everything else. But they have a lot more to lose than you think. And I guarantee a lot of them are trying. You might disagree with some of their work ethic or how hard they're working, but I would hate if somebody was at your job every day, micromanaging and looking over every single small thing that you did, that every time you got an Excel spreadsheet wrong or anytime a sale didn't go through, if they've posted on a message board about you,
I'm fine with the pressure. It just got to be respectful pressure. That's it. I think everything delivery matters. So I think the fan base want to press John Hevesy about how he's recruiting the offensive line and developing it. Let's do it in a classy manner. That's all.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into some big news. The Gators landed 3 commitments this weekend, one from the class of 2022, one from the class of 2023, and one from the class of 2024 right after Friday Night Lights. But the first early last week, they ended up getting tight end Mac Markway, tight end out of St. Louis, Missouri. That was a guy that we had said to expect and look out for his commitment. A Rivals 100 player, good, big body tight end out of Missouri. Good get first commitment from that class of 2023. And then on Friday, Terrence Gibbs put out after Friday Night Lights what I think is one of the best commitment videos that I've ever seen. Running back out of Winter Park, 6'1", 204-star, was injured last season. A lot of folks think that he could have been a 5-star if it wasn't for that injury. But he's the first one that commits after Friday Night Lights. Silk, want to get your thoughts on Terrence Gibbs, and what do you think of that commitment video?
First off, shout out to Zach Albaverdi who shot the video.
Did he? Okay, that's my bad.
I got to start it off with, shout out to White Spike, man. White Spike came through. Did what he do, so that's my guy, man. He performed at Bubbles and Bow Ties. Zach, my guy, he killed it, man. He texted me right after he posted. I was like, man, I was looking on the time. I'm like, man, Zach snap. And he texted me. I don't want to say what he texted, but he texted me a random text. And I was just like, yeah, bro, it's gas, man. I appreciate what you're doing for the coach, man. It's just dope, man. Shout out to Zach. He always trying to be on the edge of things. But I think Gibbs is a great get. People are concerned about, of course, the knee injury, but knee injuries, it's not 1997, man. Guys are bouncing back from those type of injuries. I don't remember the last guy that ACL really just destroyed their career like that. I think Gibbs is going to bounce back. I think the interest from LSU was real. We won one. I'm going to take it. A guy that's from Central Florida right down the street. We should win these battles. Great get, man. And if that knee bounces back, we got an elite running back.
Absolutely. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. My first thought is, it almost seems, not to down the kid at all, but it seems like this is the kind of kid that Florida does really well with. I can't remember who the other kid was that they followed through with an injury. But I think Florida does a really good job of like, hey, if we evaluate you and we've got you here, it doesn't matter if you've gotten hurt or, like DeJuan Black. Hey, you didn't get into school. We've evaluated you. We still want you, and we're gonna be there. So I think with him is, hey, we think you're number 1, number 2 on our board. We want you. We don't care if you blew out your knee or whatever. We're going to stick on you and get you. And like Silk said, this is in 1997. ACL surgeries have become like 8-month recovery. You get cut and you're back, by next season. So To me, great get, and it'll be interesting to see. I think, like you said, could have been a 5-star guy without the injury. And I think Florida's getting a player.
Yeah, I really like him. And then Florida looks to sit in a really good spot with another running back. What's his name? Glover. Jalen Glover, who's going to announce, I think at the end of this week. So, that might grab Florida's 2 open running back spots. And I think that Glover is a good add. And I think that Gibbs, once he returns to form, I think that he's going to be a very good serviceable running back for the University of Florida. They've got a stable, heavy group of running backs there. And I think that they've got a lot of talent. And I think that Terrence Gibbs, augments that room really well.
Glover is running back out of Lakeland, man, which is a Gator hole.
Yep.
We should land him pretty soon. His recruitment is kind of heading way towards the end before the start of the season. I think we'll land Glover. Hopefully that helps. We had some other guys from Lakeland on campus and a whole lot of like Lakeland energy with Ahmad and the Pouncey twins. So hopefully we get that Lakeland energy flowing like it's supposed to.
That Pouncey boat ended up on the timeline again.
That boat's insane, man.
Bro, I mean,
that's nuts. You think they'll let me drive?
They shouldn't. They shouldn't have.
One of my best friends.
See you at work, fam.
One of my best friend's uncles owned a company that built boats, and we're out in his ridiculous boat one time. And I'm asking him about it. He was like, Nick, the thing you need to know in life is have friends that own boats. Don't own boats. And I'm like, my guy, this is not a great marketing campaign for you and your company right now. But yeah, I look at that boat and I'm like, I think both of them are retired now, or just one of them.
No, both.
Yeah,
both retired.
They both retired back to back. Yeah,
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of upkeep.
It looks. I watched the whole video. It appears that they're sharing like a vacation home or something, and the boat split.
That home is actually in a very exclusive neighborhood in Fort Lauderdale that my friend's grandpa lives in.
Where is that?
We don't need to dox the Pouncies. It's on the intercoastal. It's on the intercoastal. I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. We don't need to dox the Pouncies and have people staking out their house, but it's on the intercoastal.
That's a good point. These are the people that screenshot kids that they don't know's rivals rankings.
So, not trying to dox the Pouncies. It's on the intercoastal.
No, you can dox the Pouncies because pull up. I'm pretty sure like shots gonna be fired. You walk in that yard.
Like I said, we don't need to dox the Pouncies. We don't need them catching charges.
That'll be doxed.
They don't need Chico charges.
They don't need Chico charges, man.
I think it's got to be Eastern Federal. It's South Florida. You can kind of tell like it's Eastern Federal right along the intercoastal. Look at Google Maps Silk over here. No, I'm just from South Florida. I know it. I can see things in the worst. I've been around a few corners there, Nick.
That's right. But both those guys look good. I expect to see them in Gainesville a bit more often. Shout out to Brandon James and Ahmad Black and Major Wright, who are all. I think there may be some other players, but I definitely know that those 3 were on campus.
Shout out to Ahmad has some Netflix cameras at his house. I don't know what's going on, but somebody was interviewing Ahmad, and there was like big cameras. So shout out to Ahmad, man, former Stadium Miguel alum.
We got an ESPN 30 for 30 about those Florida teams.
I doubt it.
I don't think that they're ever going to talk about that, Nick. Not to be outgunned, just a few hours later, the Gators grab a wide receiver out of Milton, Florida, Raymond Cottrell, another Rivals 100 guy. So he joins Matt Markaway in that class of 2023. This kid's a dog. This kid's wanted by a lot of the top schools around the country. But so you had some thoughts on him?
Just an elite wide receiver, man. The guys at Bama, Clemson, Georgia, everybody wants. I like the way he responded after his commitment. A kid that grew up a Gator fan from Florida. It's hard to find these kids. When you got a kid like that can anchor your class, it's rare these days. We already see how hard it is for Florida State, and Miami to recruit in-state kids that are elite because Bama, Clemson, the guys that are winning coming to get them. So this is a great get, man. Hopefully he stays true to his word and shut it all down and don't take any phone calls or texts from other schools. That'd be dope.
That's your responsibility now. 5-0 to make sure you're down. Man, but offers from offers from Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Notre Dame, Tennessee. I mean, there's probably a lot more that are not listed there as well. So Raymond Cottrell, really solid player. I think high points the ball really well, has good speed. I think that he's a guy that's going to make up the rankings over the next couple of months in that class. But to be a Rivals 100 right out of the gate is, congratulations to him. But that's a huge get for the Gators, and that class of 2023 is starting off strong. And then not to be outshone just a little bit later, class of 2024. So this kid just finished his freshman year of high school from Gainesville, Florida, Gainesville High School. Jarrett Gibson committed to the Gators running back. A lot of people have this kid pegged as another potentially Rivals 100 guy. Some people are throwing around high 4 stars, low 5 stars for this kid. Obviously, just a freshman year, or just a upcoming sophomore. But his highlight tape from his freshman year is outstanding, and he really did a bang up job there at Friday Night Lights, and earned the opportunity to be the first commit of the class of 2024.
The class of 2024, that's a little too young for me to really start paying attention to.
That ain't my bag either, Nick.
That's and you're way more into recruiting than I am.
Yes.
But
No. Yeah.
For what?
That's way too many mango seasons ahead for me. I can't go that far.
Too many mango seasons.
For sure.
Yeah, I can't even get in with guys who are like, hey, here's my top 16. I'm like, cool, man, save it. I'll just cut that by a quarter and let me know when you're in like a top 4 or top 3.
Yeah, I'm going back as juniors, man. Other than that, I can't be going back further.
I don't care if a senior tells me they got a top 16. I don't care about that. Let me know when you got it down to like an actual 4.
But I don't know your name if you're not like a junior or senior.
Yeah, 2024. That's a little young. She's too young for you.
Yeah,
bro.
no, that is young. I don't know much about him. He's a guy that I didn't know much. I mean, we don't really follow recruiting that closely here from a long-term prospect perspective. We'll watch the guys that commit, watch the guys that the Gators are close to. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for us to break down recruiting on a day-by-day basis, go follow our boy Connor Clark on Twitter, and then check out Facts Only whenever we drop that. But that'll give you a deeper dive into recruiting. But the Gators do land 3 commitments out of this weekend. From there, they also get an announcement from their linebacker, Shamar James, that he's shutting down his commitment. So he's a great player that was recruited by a lot of the top schools. Florida nabbed his commitment a couple months ago. He's announced that he's going to shut it down. Let's see who else.
Real quick, that's a big get for Florida.
It's huge get.
And that's one that when we talk about, you got to compete with Alabama, you got to compete with LSU, you got to compete with Clemson. That's one where I feel like when it happens, everyone's excited for a day and then forget about it and then get back on to, screenshotting the 2 stars that they're getting offers. But that's Shamar is a guy that has a legit offer from Alabama, and Alabama wants and these other schools want. That's a huge gift for Florida.
We just need to win more of them battles. The 2-star offensive lineman with no ranking, that's egregious. I feel disrespected as a Gator fan to have to deal with that, man.
Have to deal with it?
Yeah, I got to deal with it. I got to deal with fans being disrespectful to Hevesy. All this is I got to deal with it. We got to talk about it on the show because he's recruiting 2 stars, so we got to criticize the fans for criticizing him. It's a lot of work.
But we've already criticized him. This is a vicious cycle for you. So vicious cycle.
I'm spending a lot of words, right? So you're a businessman. You got other things to be doing than
I can't be spending lives for Hevesy and Grantham this fall. I draw my line. They got to get it together.
Line the sand.
But I do like Shamar. Shamar's a stud. We got Wingos.
Yeah.
We get Gravon Dexters. We just need to fill the whole depth chart up with those type of studs.
I'm just saying, it has to start at a point, and you got to give some credit when you win a battle like this. Getting Gravon in, yeah. I mean, I thought getting Wingo in was a big deal, but we'll see if they can even get him on the field.
We got to develop him.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
If he was no lineman, they would develop him. That's what they do. You got to
win. You got to win.
Linebacker room in the O-line room, I get O-line room of development because he's bringing in little kids that need a whole lot of development, right?
Projects.
Right, a lot of projects. The linebacker room is just full of studs. So that should be an easy development going on in there because those kids are freaks.
Should be.
I gotta write something because I was asking Ventrell and Zach about Tyron Hopper, and it would seem if they were making the depth chart that Tyron would be playing, but we'll see if he gets on the field this year.
How this all works,
Yeah.
Every year they're a little bit closer to making the field, whether they've earned the spot as a freshman or they earn the spot as a senior.
Do you know what we get to do? We get to see them play one good year at UF, go on the pro, and just be a dog. And we're just like, bro, how did this kid develop?
Why?
And what is going on?
It was just, really from 20 to 21 years old, they got that much better. That's what it was.
Man, oh man. Let's see. In other news, CJ Smith, wide receiver commit, speedy wide receiver, announced that he is going to be closing his recruitment off and is going to be working hard on recruiting for the Gators. We already talked about 2022 running back Jalen Glover, who's expected to commit at the end of this week. Pardon me. In other Lakeland news, Cormani McClain, 5-star defensive back, class of 2023. There's a lot of tea leaves that think that he's going to come over and join the Florida Gators as well. So you add, Cormani McClain to that class at 23, top, Rivals 100 guys in it, and they're in it for a lot of players. So that looks to be a really strong class. In other news, Azariah Thomas, who Silk talked about last week, didn't commit, had a great visit for all intents and purposes. And then this was a big one. Evan Stewart, the 5-star wide receiver, that Florida's battling Texas A&M and Texas and Alabama and a number of other schools for, ends up having a showdown. And it was really putting up a bunch of highlight reel type of work. He was competing against all the DBs that were there, including Florida Gators commit Julian Humphrey. But that kid looks as good as any wide receiver that I've seen at Friday Night Lights in the last few years. So that kid's a must get for the University of Florida, in my opinion.
He reminded me of Jerry Jeudy, the way Jerry Jeudy looked at Friday Night Lights. I know you were there that year, so
yeah,
that was crazy. My problem is I don't want to be like the. I know Billy Gonzalez does this thing, so I don't want to like harp on like Evan Stewart too much. But when you leave for guys like Thomas, Azariah Thomas, Evan Stewart, they keep just saying UF leads. You have a great night like Friday Night Lights. It's booming. You got your quarterback that flew in on the same flight as Evan Stewart from Texas. He's a great recruiter. He's doing his job, I think. Nick Evers is doing what he got to do as the leader of this class. I thought they should have closed, bro. You got to close on those guys.
And he's a kid that's not gonna do that right now. I mean, this is a kid. He's a big.
He'd do it right now.
He's a big NIL kid. I mean, he's got like 4 million TikTok followers, over 2 million on.
Get the NIL bread up, then, Nick. Because if Bama got him now hyped up on the Bama visit, guess what happens? Even Georgia, guess what happens?
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, that was the one thing we talked about with Ahmad, and Urban Meyer and the way that he did recruiting. We know Nick Saban does it this way. Kirby does it. Dabo does it.
That push.
Ask these guys for the commitment, and if not, they're moving on. Right? You got to. You have to have the ability to be able to pull away, that the old takeaway they call it in sales. So, Evan Stewart's a guy that could really transform this Gators offense. So I think.
Well, I was gonna say you don't have that kind of pull yet as Florida, but fake it till you make it, baby. Just tell them like, hey, if you want to commit to Florida right now, commit to Florida.
Tell me what pull does Georgia have right now, or Texas A&M for that matter.
I don't know. Georgia's like your first marriage right now, especially if you're a quarterback. Like, hey, come to us, and then you can go somewhere else later.
No, but I don't understand how those programs could close right now. They haven't won anything.
Right.
Yeah,
they haven't done anything big. So how like we're not in the shape or the program are not there yet when we're at the SEC championship, we're in Atlanta, we got a guy on the Heisman race, we're putting guys in the first round draft. Like the product to sell is there. I don't understand, like there's no excuse for us not to be closing at a Friday Night Lights with all that hype. I understand we had a good day. Even Gibson. Like Gibson is a Gator lean, been a Gator lean for how long?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he pushed back his commitment. I think once he got the Georgia offer, now he's doing a lot of visits. I mean, time kills all deals, right? So, Florida needs these kids, and they need them soon. And we know that this isn't a recruiting staff that recruits super well during the regular season. During the football season, the Gators I think only have 11 commitments right now. I think that they're taking a class of probably 22, 23 into this class. So they only have probably half their class. And I can already look at probably one name that won't make it in here. that they have now. And so, one of them is a kicker too. No offense, Nick. So, the way that the Gators are looking is they've got to step up. They've got to start asking for these guys. And, you added Jalen Glover, here soon, but you need guys like Jaden Gibson and Azariah Thomas and Evan Stewart, to start popping soon, because we know that the Gators historically are not great, come this time of the football season.
I mean, I'll say it right now. Silk just sold me, because I was like, I don't know if Florida's there yet. But then Silk just ran through his little deal right there, and I was like, yeah, no, like there's enough to throw your weight around if you're Florida. And the kid's on a visit, like, hey, man, you enjoying your time? Cool. Well, here's our deal. You can commit to us right now, or we're going to move on. We're going to keep looking. We're going to look somewhere else.
You got Kyle Pitts that just went, like, crazily insane in the first round. You got Kadarius Toney, every other wide receiver, with Jeffries. Like, the product is there. We should be able to walk in the living rooms and do what we want a little bit, especially over some of the programs we're losing to. Like, Julian Humphreys is the guy we got right now that they're, like, the streets are waiting on him to decommit, because Texas A&M, what the hell Texas A&M is doing that we haven't done in the last, like, 2 decades.
That's a weird place to go to school too. So I mean, I think all three of us are on the same page. There's obviously a lot that needs to change, but don't want to rain on the parade of these three guys that just committed either.
My bad. I didn't mean to
No, you did. No, I'm not saying you were. So we did. I mean, we didn't expect the commitments of the 2023 and 2024 guy. I mean, who knows if we did or didn't, right? We don't know anything about them, but a guy like Gibbs, I think Silk, you said that he was on, commitment watch. You look at a guy, Azariah Thomas was here. He seemingly had a really good visit. EJ Lightsley, the 3-star linebacker, you had some crystal balls and some future casts that rivals do, throw his name in there. David Connor was there, the one of the offensive tackles that they're looking for. They had 1, 2, 3, 4 other non-committed, 5 non-committed, rivals 100 kids that were there. A lot of commitment. So it seemed like a good weekend. You had Friday Night Lights on Friday, then you had a barbecue cookout and like a Gator Olympics type of thing, but ended up with a bunch of prospects in town and seemingly a good weekend. But, like you said, Silk, they got to start asking for these commitments and making these kids want it or move on.
Throw your weight around.
That's right. Let's see. In other news, 5-star cornerback out of Jacksonville, Jaheim Singletary, who was a Gator lean before he got offered by Ohio State, was committed to Ohio State for a number of months. He announced that he decommitted from them. He's looking at Miami, Ohio State, Florida, probably a number of other schools. So that's a guy in your backyard that you need to go out and get. You just got 2 kids.
We're not in a position. Like, it's down to Miami, really, and whoever else.
Yeah.
But why is Miami beating us?
Why, Sway? How, Sway?
Like, how?
Right. No, I agree. I mean, that's what I'm saying. These are guys in your backyard that you need to be able to go and get, right?
They're not getting anybody drafted. Like, they're not
like,
putting no product on the field.
You lose a guy from Jacksonville to FSU or to Georgia, more acceptable than losing a guy from Jacksonville to Miami.
Yeah.
Or are you just saying not acceptable at all?
No. I don't think like we just can't be losing this many battles, bro. Like, a kid in Jacksonville at Trinity. Yeah, like, that should be a layup for us. Like, we
just got 2 kids from his school last year.
Come on, like, what's going on?
Who's the main recruiter on that one?
It's got to be either Jules or McGriff, right?
Jordan Jules.
Is it Jules? I think McGriff's in the Lakeland area, no?
I don't know who's in.
This whole thing got moved last year, so we'll double check. I think it's Jules on his recruitment.
I mean, of course, out of position, Jules got to be in on it. I don't know who's working in the Jacksonville area right now.
Yeah. Other news, Elijah Blades, a guy that everybody's kind of wondering if he's going to be, on the team next year, moved out of College Station, was in.
What year is it?
Nick, I feel like I'm living damn Groundhog Day with this kid. And I was for sure when he left campus that he wasn't going to come to UF, and here we are like 3 months later still talking about him. So he's out of College Station, has been in Gainesville, still has a class, talked to somebody on the staff, still not cleared. So, at the end of the day, we'll see. It's a wait and see on Elijah Blades. I don't think that he visited anywhere else in 2021.
No, with him, it's he's coming to Florida as soon as he can get in. It was
Yeah.
What it has been for three straight official visits for him. Shout out to him getting three official visits at the University of Florida.
He's like diamond status at that Hilton
right
campus, right?
He's getting all the Hilton rewards.
Yeah, that's right.
He had to finish another class. I think he will be in today as we tape is August 2nd. I think August 16th is the day.
Yeah.
16,
for like
the camp starts at 6. Like what?
Camp starts at 6, but that's not when you register and get enrolled in classes.
No, but if he show up to 16, like what is he about to do?
He's about to be 2 weeks late.
He's about to get himself a degree from one of the finest institutions in the United States.
That's all he's gonna do. That's all he's gonna do. Show up at 16.
That's why I've been like he's been like the hot name right now. Everyone what's going on with Elijah Blaze? When's he coming? This and that. I'm like, listen, every day that takes longer. I get that he's been in college 4 years. He did, he's been there for a while, but and it's easier for a cornerback. But as you get to a certain point, it's like, hey, well, if he's the same as Jaden Hill right now, who are you going to play? The guy that's here for a year or the sophomore?
We got to play Jaden Hill because that's what our entire season rests on. Is his success.
I think I want no smoke, man. I think Elijah Blaze could be a contributor, but like
I think that's his ceiling. I think that his ceiling is contributor.
But this is the thing.
I think he'd start if he was there for the start of camp. Showing up to 16. I don't know what you've seen on film last year to say anybody outside of Kyer got a fucking. I'm sorry, got a solid spot. Like that's insane. I don't think anybody has a for sure spot at defensive back corner.
I'd put Jason Marshall over both of them in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing. This might take a few months ago. Nicky had just started. Soak and I were kind of getting after it on Elijah Blades and what his role is on this team. At the end of the day, the Florida Gators open roster spot, it's not going to be filled by anybody except for maybe a walk-on, which I'm sorry if this, walk-on potentially loses a scholarship because of it, but at the end of the day, like if he's a guy that can come in and contribute, whether it be on special teams, whether it be, as a backup to Jason Marshall, whoever it might be, like Florida's got an open spot. And if you can get a guy like Elijah Blades who has, 4 or 5 years out of high school, 4 years of playing, and then a year where he sat out because of COVID, then why the hell not? Right? What's the worst that can happen?
I'm not against taking him.
No,
I think he's quality depth. Like when Silk was like, "Oh, I think he can be a contributor." I was like, "I think that's his ceiling. I think his ceiling is contributor."
Yeah, and I mean another thing is you might be able to put him on special teams, right? Now you have a guy that you're.
Dan, you've been freezing, my boy.
Bro, we got Dan left, and he's got that Pennsylvania internet this week.
Damn, I lost it. I know. I got to reset my mind. So sorry, I don't know where it cut me off, but at the end of the day, if he can come and expel some guy on special teams, or play later in the game, you potentially don't risk further injury, or you give a guy an opportunity. And the worst case scenario is a guy that doesn't play, and you weren't expecting him on the roster anyway, right?
Yeah. I
mean, I'm not against taking him. I'm just like, from what I see, like on my message board and from what I see on Twitter, everyone, it's almost like they think he's like this great fix. And, oh, yeah, well, you get Blades in, like the excitement around him is, oh, you just slide him next to Kyer and you get that same kind of production. I'm like, I don't think that's the case at all.
No, definitely not the same type of production. But I think you get a more physical presence than a Jaden Hill that's on the slender side, doesn't really – in my opinion, look like an SEC corner.
I mean, I don't think Elijah looks like an SEC cornerback last year in College Station.
He's bigger than Jaden for sure.
He's bigger, but I mean, you can be 5'8" and play like 6'2", and you can be 6'2" and play like you're 5'8".
I don't think he ducked tackles in contact like Jaden did. I just don't think Jaden wanted to run into stuff last year, and you got to be ready to run into like big bodies in the SEC. That's the only difference. I think it's just been a bigger presence. You see a bigger bite on the outside. Either way, if Elijah Blades show up the 6 or the 16, whoever starts on that side is going to get a lot of balls thrown at them because Kyer is going to shut down the side. Yeah. And whoever's on that side is going to have to bring some heat.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see some other news from Friday Night Lights. Let's see, I think talked about everybody that was there. We talked about Julian Humphrey that was there. Nick Evers looked good throwing the ball.
Hey man, shout out to the boy. We giving what's his name? The commit that we all complained about a little bit. He was out there hooping. What's his name?
Bert.
Bert.
Bert, yeah.
Shout out to Bert. He was out there hooping. Shout out to Jules for that fine too. But the kid, from what I was saying, all reports from everybody that was there, kid can play.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody said that he played really, really well. Quan Lee was there, former Miami commit. Let's see, Julian Besaith, or Wesley Besaith, pardon me, 2022 linebacker. Looks to be a Miami lean. He was on campus. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that's really worth talking about. A 2025 kid, Colin Hurley, who's a UF fan, entering his freshman year of high school, was officially offered. Well, not officially, but offered by the staff at Friday Night Lights. So if you wanted to feel old, 2025 high school graduating class.
I really should have brought Harlan. We could have got an offer.
What's his class? 2030?
I haven't done the math yet, Nick.
live on podcast math right now.
That's right. Here's a kid that was there, 2024 quarterback Battle Alberson. That's a hell of a name, Battle. But all in all, seems like a very productive weekend for the Florida Gators. Nick, want to get into some other news. Speaking of recruiting, everybody is on campus except for your alma mater, defensive tackle Tyrique Sapp. Talk to us a little bit about him. He's expected on campus when?
Yeah, I think he should be on campus for the next period. I think the next drop ad is the 10th through the 16th or something like that. So kind of like in that same time period as Elijah Blades. And to me, coming from St. Thomas Aquinas, I don't even understand how you get into a situation at St. Thomas where, when you get there as a freshman, they just drill into that we're a college prep school. And there's a lot of us that go to St. Thomas and we're like, I came here to play whatever sport that I'm playing. I didn't come here for college prep. But they do a really good job of making sure everyone gets eligible. So for me, Tyrique not qualifying initially was surprising. But everyone I've talked to down at St. Thomas tells me he's good to go. Still a Gator, will be getting on campus, when fall enrollment happens. So you just had to take care of some things or some online classes. And who knows with whatever happened with COVID and how they had to change their school stuff. But what I'm hearing from people on the ground at St. Thomas is he should be on campus for the fall.
All right. Well, very good. Very good. Silk, why don't you read a Brunt ad read here? And we got a bunch of stuff to go over.
We haven't had an ad read yet.
We just saw a home field shout out.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Silk.
No, it's all good, man. Shout out to the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. My man Greg, what it do? Pulled up last week at the Bubs and Bowtie with quite the dapper suit and shoes and Jordans or whatever to match. Dope guy, man. Be sure to visit bruntinsurance.com for all your insurance needs, man. From the panhandle to the keys, my man can insure your life, your car, your motorcycle, your business, any other financial services you may need. He can take care of it. bruntinsurance.com or 954-589-2204. Big coverage, big policies. Greg, what it do?
All right, Nick. It was announced I guess yesterday. So on Sunday, that Gators outfielder Judd Fabian, who was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the second round, did not come to terms with the Boston Red Sox, and he will be returning for what I believe is his junior year. So tell us a little bit more about that. What broke down? I know he's asking for maybe a little bit more than slot money, but break down that for us.
Yeah, so the interesting thing with Judd was because we talk about early enrolling in football all the time. Early enrolling for baseball is almost unheard of because that means you're not playing your senior year of baseball because baseball runs in the spring. So Judd enrolling early made him an 18-year-old, 17-year-old at the time freshman. So right now, Judd, as a sophomore technically, was the youngest college draft eligible player. He had a ton of leverage. He could have come back to school. His brother's going to be a freshman at Florida next year. So obviously 20 home runs, great. almost led the nation in strikeouts. Not great. There were some people worrying about the swing and miss with him. I thought he was a first-round pick. He fell. Then Judd gets a call, and a lot of stuff happens, behind the scenes. So Judd had an agreement with 2 different teams for $3 million, which is above signing, above the slot for anybody in after the first round. But he had an agreement with 2 different teams. The Boston Red Sox call, and they say, hey, we're going to take Judd 40th overall. Judd's advisor and Judd's family let them know, hey, this is what we have. This is what we will sign for. If you are cool with meeting that, go ahead, take him, and we'll sign, no problem. The Red Sox take him at 40. Negotiations start, and they're offering him under slot. So his slot was 1.6. So they're already telling you, before you take us at 40, we're looking at 1.4 over slot. And then the Red Sox come in under slot. So by the time the negotiations started, and once Nathan Hickey signed, who was a later pick, he signed for $1 million, which was $600,000 over slot. Then I realized, hey, Judd's not going to sign. And that was probably 2 or 3 days before. Talked to the family. And it's definitely tough with baseball because you can go over the allotted money, but you have to pay a tax on top of that. So for Judd, all it means for him, he comes back next year as a junior. He still has the leverage of being able to tell a team in negotiations, hey, I'll go back to school. He's only now just the age of everyone else in his grade class. He'll be a junior next year. He'll be the same age as everyone else. So for Florida, you couldn't have asked for a better outcome with Judd Fabian. And then for Judd, you're betting on yourself. Say, hey, I come back, cut down the strikeouts, hit for a little higher average, hit 20 home runs again. I might be a top 10 pick, and then you're talking $4, $5, $6 million in signing bonus instead of the 1 point something. So for Judd, it's setting your value in your mind and then betting on yourself to come back and saying, hey, I can reach that. So for Florida, incredible. I mean, Florida's plans did not include Judd Fabian in 2022, and you're talking about someone who's going to be a preseason All-American, preseason first-team All-SEC, and it'll probably be on the postseason awards for that as well.
Interesting. So Judd Fabian, welcome him back. That's obviously a welcome addition to the University of Florida into his continued success there. In other news today, the Gators announced that they added a 6'4" shooting guard out of Virginia to their basketball recruiting class. He was ranked as the 47th best shooting guard in the country. He got injured his junior year. He was ranked the 5A player of the year in Virginia by the Virginia High School Coaches Association. So obviously a very, very talented player. Was going to head up to college prep school. An offer, visited the Florida Gators last week, announced that he will be enrolling at the University of Florida in a couple of weeks. So congratulations and welcome to Gator Nation, Elijah Kennedy. Let's get into some other Gator news. The Gator soccer team is adding transfer Julian. Man, this is a tough one.
Yeah, sound it out.
Come on.
Leskauskas. Leskauskas. Leskauskas is what I'm going to go with.
To me, I ain't finna try.
She is from Virginia.
I
always put myself out here. Knowing that you guys don't have to, pronounce it. So you guys always are the ones getting the jokes off. One of these days, I'm going to make you guys do this Gator News ad read whenever the Gators get somebody on their gymnastics program that's from Russia. But she's going to join. She's a midfielder. She's joining from Rutgers. So welcome, Julianne. In other news, Gators dominating the Olympics. Caleb Dressel ends up with 5 medals. In the Olympics here. 5 gold medals. He won a gold medal in the 50 free, the 100 free, the 100 fly, the 4x1, and the 4x100 meter medley relay. He set the Olympic record in the 50 free with a blazing speed of 21.07 seconds. Just absolutely kills it. And then Bobby Fink swims for 14 minutes, 39 seconds, and 65 milliseconds to win the 1,500 meter free. Dominates the field there. Guys, could you imagine swimming for 14 minutes minutes and 39 seconds, regardless of how fast you were going.
So
I know I couldn't.
I got a story about swimming. I went to Greensboro College, a little D3 school in North Carolina. It's November in North Carolina. I don't have a car up there. I got to walk in 40 degrees to the swimming pool.
Right.
We were all drinking the night before. We're swimming, doing our conditioning. The coach stops us. They sent Nick, go over to the right side. That's where the wall is. When you're swimming, you can grab, a baseball team. And we're swimming for conditioning. They sent me over to the right side so I could have like the safety wall because they were worried about me drowning. The coach yells at us and he's like, all I smell is Jim Beam and alcohol on you guys. And we're like, yeah, no, we had a party last night and we shouldn't be swimming. This should not be happening. Swimming is the hardest thing I've ever done, sober or hungover. 1,500 meters,
use every muscle in your body to swim.
1,500 meters is insane. So, yes, I have swam for 14 minutes, but I was holding onto a wall and might have been hungover in college.
That's nuts.
I took a swimming class in college, and I regretted like signing up for it because that joint was hard, bro.
You think in your head, oh, I can swim, no problem.
Easy A.
And then they're like, all right, do that for 10 minutes. And you're like, what?
Yeah, and if it's a class, like I don't think like performance should matter, like right? Like effort should, like
it's just effort, yeah.
Effort
grade.
I'm a college kid. I come here hungover to this swimming class, and I can't butterfly 2 laps, bro. Like, we gonna give me an F?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Hopefully, you figure that out before drop ad.
No, I dropped it.
Yeah, you drop that class real quick.
That class was like 7 in the morning too. It was insane.
That's when people swim. Swimming 7 a.m. is late for swimmers.
Yeah.
7 a.m. is late for swimmers.
That's nuts. Caleb, I know he said that he was thrown off completely by the schedule, said that he lost a bunch of weight, that he couldn't get his sleeping schedule down, his eating schedule down. He was shaken, said he lost, I think, about 10 pounds while he was there. Still goes on to set the record in the 50 and the 100 fly split too. So only the 5th U.S. male ever to win 5 golds in a single Olympics. Mark Spitz, Matt Biondi, Michael Phelps, who did it 3 times, and then Eric Hayden, who did it. So incredible honor. Shout out to everybody that's there. The softball girls ended up in the I think that they got silver. So the Gators were represented by 3 folks on the softball team. So congratulations to them. The men's baseball team ended up losing in extra innings to Japan. So the baseball team with Mark, the catcher, remind me what his last name is.
Come on, Dan, you got this.
And, Colasari.
Cole Zavari.
I don't even have the name pulled up in front of me. That was by memory. So he ends up with a silver medal.
They'll play, I think they play Thursday for the bronze.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. So that was the
today was the game to get into Japan. Yeah.
That's my bad. Another fact error. Shout out Dan for multiple fact errors.
I'm here to check you. Also, Caleb, the only one the race so he was in 6 races, got 5 golds. The one race that he didn't get, I don't know, Silk, if you saw I know you're big into track. They did a mixed medley. So it was
I'm not into sprints.
Sprints, okay. So like they did a 4x1 in the track where it was 2 men, 2 women on each team, and you figure out how you want to like spread them out. Right. And they did the same thing for the one race that Dress didn't win gold in. It was a mixed medley, so it was breaststroke, fly, freestyle, and then backstroke, and then you had to pick 2 women, 2 men to run those. And then the first woman that went into the water, her goggles went from her eyes like down to her mouth, lost it. She had a terrible run. And so they finished 5th. But other than that, like 5 for 6 in his races, gold medals. Like that's like Michael Phelps level of dominance.
Yeah, shout out to that, man. All those events sounds like field day though.
No, field day was weird. You remember? Did you have that weird like
mixed medley sounds like field day, Dan? Like hacky sack.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Dan looks like a big hacky sack guy in high school. Dan was big into after high school. Dan was big into hacky sack.
Sit and reach.
Did you ever make presidential fitness?
We didn't. I'm sure we.
You guys
did
didn't
it,
do that
like,
in Coral Springs?
No, like I think they did it, but like I'm going to sound like a real loser here, but I played hockey. So because of that, like my schedule didn't really allow for like a ton of like, and just because of some of the stuff that I wanted to do, like we didn't have to take PE in Broward County. You did, but you could take it through Florida Virtual School. So I took my PE credit through Florida Virtual School. I know we can talk about it later if we need.
What a nerd.
So I took PE through Florida Virtual School. So I never did like the presidential challenge or anything like that. I think my last time I actually had PE was in like 7th grade.
So the presidential, we had to do that in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, see, we had that.
So you had to do pull-ups in a minute, sit-ups in a minute. The sit and reach, you had to be able to be flexible enough to get to a certain thing, and then you had to run a mile. So my dad rode me, just drilled me, being like, "Oh, I only got presidential." My dad was like, "I only got presidential when I was in school," and I kept bringing home vice presidential because my mile time was slow. So by my 8th grade year, I finally got
Nick
my
was
mile
getting
time.
like Secretary of Agriculture instead.
Yeah, I was getting. My dad was like, "Hey, I thought you were an athlete. You're putting up these BS numbers, and you're getting this red medal when you should be getting blue." So 8th grade year, I got it.
Yeah, middle school, I was at Lakeshore, and we just fought at the courtyard.
Just fought at the courtyard?
Yeah, with no medals and stuff like that, bro. Shout out to
just
the president.
fisticuffs.
I never heard of that, man. So shout out to
Presidential Fitness Awards.
I was sick at the sit and reach because you guys know that I have short legs and I got a long torso.
I don't know that.
That's just a life hack, you know.
How do you think I know that?
Why do we know that, Dan?
Because you've like seen me in person, you know. I got a super long torso and short leg. You guys
measure
know.
your torso, fam?
Nobody's measuring my.
So, did you measure his torso?
I've never took out the measuring tape. That's for Ralph.
Pause.
Hulk Hogan Ralph does that.
Oh man, let's see. I know you guys are all curious. Grant Holloway runs his heat for the 110-meter hurdles.
Easy peasy.
On tomorrow, so the day that you're listening to this at 6:26 a.m. Local time here in the United States. So other than that, a bunch of Gators are doing well. I think if the Gators were a country, they would be somewhere close to the top 10 in medal counts. So congratulations to the Florida Gators that are representing a lot of different countries over there. Maria Torres is the first ever woman to represent Puerto Rico in golf, and she's a Gator grad. So
I don't understand that. Can you guys explain that to me? Like Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, but they're their own thing in the Olympics.
Yeah,
you're going to have to take that up with the IOC. The IOC banned Russia, and here I see Russia winning all these.
The Rock. Apparently, they got Jay-Z. Jay-Z's got a whole country in the Olympics this year.
No, it's like Puerto Rico is just one of America's side girls.
That's a side chick.
Yeah.
So when the side chick's like, "Yo, can I go with you?" and you're like, "No, you're not coming to me with the wedding. You can be your own thing for the wedding. Here you go. You got your own."
They don't get represented in America by anything other than them paying taxes. So
when it's convenient
for
you, when it's convenient for us, it matters.
That's it. Like,
when we want their tax.
Puerto Rico's winning some gold medals. No, you guys are coming over here.
Yeah.
We want
the
that
United States
gold.
just adds them. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
That seems like something we do.
The Gators have 2 girls, I can't remember their names right now, on the Canadian soccer team who are playing for gold because they beat the U.S. with a questionable penalty kick today, this morning.
Well, congratulations to all of them. We'll have a more in-depth breakdown next week. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of other Gator news to break down for you guys. So that concludes this week's Gator News of the Week. All right, let's get in and shout out our friends over at Prize Picks. So if you are looking to get in to picking and doing some, potential, fantasy picks, things of that nature, head over to Prize Picks, use promo code SG. They're going to do a $1 for $1 match up to $100. Simplest fantasy game on the market. Check them out. You can win. It's not one of those, only a certain number of people can win. Anybody can win. Mixed sport entries, all that kind of fun stuff. So check them out, prizepicks.com. They are sponsoring our buy or sell segment from here on out. So with that being said, Silk, I'm going to ask you first. Gervon Dexter, 4.5 sacks or more, buy or sell?
I'm buying that. Big bread making the rain, man. You already know how the Ville do it, man. We've been buying a lot of stuff at home field. You know, I'm gonna make it rain. That's easy. I think he gets 4. What do you think?
4. You think 4.5? 4.5 was our.
Yeah. Mark me down for about 6.
Marked down for 6. I'm going to say I like Gervon Dexter. I think that this is going to be his breakout year. I got him at 5 sacks. I think that he's going to be a monster. I think he's going to be a guy that doesn't show up a ton on the roster sheet, or on the stat sheet, pardon me. But I think that he's going to be a guy that makes a big impact for this team. I think he's going to disrupt a lot in the offensive line of opposing teams. And, I think he's down for 5. But like I said, I think he makes a bigger impact than just 5 there. We'll ask this question. Nick had to run out real quick.
Yeah, I think he could push the pocket and do some things for sure. Like you said, now outside of sacks, I think he moves the quarterback's launch point and all that type of stuff a lot.
I think that Gervon's going to be a guy that has a big year. I know a lot of people expected a lot out of him. Last year he comes in first game of the season last year, ends up with an interception. But had a bunch of seniority in front of him last season. Had the opportunity to play, really kind of stepped it up.
Dan's audio, man.
Towards the end of the season, more of him. I think that he's going to make a big impact.
We gotta get you out of Tampa, Dan. Apparently, fiber hasn't reached Tampa yet.
No, it has. I don't know what's going on. Nick, we're talking Gervon Dexter, 5 sacks, 4.5 sacks or more.
Shout out to my guy Gerv, who led the team in interceptions for 3 weeks last year.
Sure did.
That was fire.
He took a little exception to my joke. I think
that's like a defensive tackle was like record, right? First defensive tackle lead the team in interception for 3 weeks.
It might be. He took a little exception to my tweet last year. He's been cool with me. Back from it, when was it? He hit me up. He hit me up in the DMs because Dan was like FaceTiming. We were down the field when Florida was playing, I think, in the Cotton Bowl in Jerry World. And I was like, oh, Dan's FaceTiming a recruit right now. And Gervin hit me up. He was, oh, that was me. And I was like, all right, cool. And then like 3 other guys hit me up and they're like, oh, that was me. I was like, I think Dan was talking to a bunch of guys, doing his recruiting thing down there. 5.5 sacks. I need to see what
4.5.
4.5. Well, 5. 5 would be my number then. I would need to see how much Red and Valentino are going to get run, because those are the guys that he's going to be splitting time with. And those are, if we're talking about seniority, those are guys who are in their senior years or in our grad transfers now ahead of him. But I'm gonna go over for that. And I hesitate because I think Gerv's a guy that will command double teams, and he's a guy that when offensive coordinators are game planning, hey, you need to know where number 9 is on the defensive line, and someone that's pointed out from a week-to-week basis. But I think he has the potential to really get into the mix there, and I could see him even starting. I think the older guys will probably start early on, but I think he can earn his starting spot, and I'll go over. I'll buy on that.
Very good. I think we're 3 for 3 on buying Gervon Dexter, 4.5 sacks or more. All right. Silk, we talked a little bit about it last week. Emory Jones, 25-1 odds. A couple other lines have come out, somewhat in the same ballpark, some a little bit better, some a little bit worse. Buy or sell, Emory Jones is a top, let's see, what's a good number? A top 7 vote getter for the Heisman Trophy.
Got my Birdman hand rub going on.
Come on, man. I know you got that money. Just send it.
I'm buying, man. Put me in it, man. I got him in the top 7. You know what I'm saying? I think Dan Mullen gonna put him in position to make some plays, some stats. Like the production's gonna be there. Of course, it takes a whole team effort. Like you gotta have a good season from the team to make it to like the ceremony. But I think he's the top 7 vote getter.
Yeah, it's a big sell for me. Big sell for me.
Sell, really? Okay. Yeah, where do you think? If I were to say top 20, do you think 20?
Yeah, sure. I mean, 20. I mean, you can get like the third receiver, second receiver from Alabama might be in the top 20.
Well, we know that they're going to be probably in the top 10. Nick, all right. No, I'm trying to find where Nick's cutoff point
top
is.
Top 20, sure.
Top 20, sure. Yeah. Sorry, top 15.
Do you think he makes the race this fall? Just tell me that. Do you think he jumps in the Heisman race?
No, because I think Florida loses to Alabama. If Emory comes out and Florida beats Alabama and Emory has a good game against Alabama, you need Heisman moments. You need Heisman moments. What Emory's chances for Heisman moments are week 3
I don't know, Nick.
Or whatever it is against Georgia. That's
so.
it.
I don't know. I don't think you need Heisman moments anymore. I think that you need to have consistency. But the way that the SEC is, all these games are being broadcasted, all the eyeballs are on it. You've never had more opportunities to see people. I don't think you need the Heisman moment as much as you need to be consistently good to be in contention to be talked about often. Right?
I don't think Florida wins enough games to get him to that point where you're talking about winning consistently enough. I think Florida's I've probably got them at 10-2, 9-3. I think 10-2 is probably the ceiling.
You don't think a 10-2?
I think 10-2 is the ceiling. I think 10-2 is the ceiling.
Right. You don't think a 10-2 Florida team that's likely somewhere in the top
but those losses are to Georgia and Alabama. Then those are your biggest games. That means your quarterback gets the biggest game. That's got you a loss.
If Florida is 10-2. Pardon me, 9-2 heading into FSU, 10-2 heading into the SEC championship, whether they played or not. You don't think that Emory Jones is likely being talked about? Because I don't think this defense is going to be a lights out defense. So this team's going to be carried by the offense. And if Florida's 10-2, that means that they're somewhere in that New Year's Six game, man. I think that's good enough.
At 10-2, you're not playing in the SEC championship game because you have two SEC losses.
He's making that top 7 because he's having a real good season. We had a New Year's Six bowl, like Dan said. He's in that conversation, man. In my opinion, if we get to that point.
Okay.
If Florida's 10-2,
sell.
You're selling, and your logic doesn't make sense. So I'm going to be on record saying that that's ridiculous. Your logic doesn't make. I want you to come better prepared next week with some logical thought there.
All right, and then when we're covering the Heisman in January and December,
we'll cover in December. Yeah. All right, fine. Well, shout out to Ben Chase. He's keeping track of all this stuff. Ben's
gonna sell too. He's
Ben on your note, Nick. I'm about to mute you. All right, so Ben, when you put the note out, I want you to say that Nick has Emory Jones somewhere between 15 or lower. And he thinks that if Florida is 10 or 2, that Emory Jones is not in the Heisman race.
That's a crazy take.
At 10-2, you're losing your two big games. You're losing your two big games at 10-2.
If you said Emory Jones, I just don't think that he's going to be top 15, and you would have left it at that. We would have been on to like our 5th or 6th buy or sell by now. But you just showed your ass to the entire fan base. You look like a little baboon.
Ass, man. It's a good ass.
You look like a baboon at the zoo.
Doing my squats. I'm doing my squats.
You know,
you got your whole ass out with the baboon.
We're doing squats. We're doing deadlifts. We're not afraid to show our ass because it's a good ass.
Well, you just did, so congratulations.
There you go.
I have Emory Jones somewhere around somewhere between like 5 and 8. I don't have him winning, so I'm going to buy just because I talked myself into it and because Nick's nonsense has me.
Dan was going to sell until I said what I said. Now he's
I was leaning to sell, but your ridiculous commentary has got me.
You got to balance out your take.
I'm going to be right at the end of the year.
Nick, you're nuts.
You may be right that he may not be in it, but your take about us being, if we're 10-2, he's in it. 100%,
if Florida's 10-2, that means you lost to Alabama and Georgia. The two games that fans are going to want you to win, you've lost.
Hold on. What game did Johnny Manziel, what big game he won for him to be in it?
Tim Tebow won 8-4.
Yeah, he also broke Herschel Walker's record for being the first quarterback to go 20-20 with passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. What national record or what crazy record is Emory going to break this year that puts him into a different stratosphere that takes him away from his team's record?
I don't know, Nico. What games?
I'm still trying to figure out. Like, I know because I know Johnny Manziel had good highlights, but what did they?
He beat Alabama that year at Alabama,
and he lost to Florida.
Right.
That was his first game ever, and Florida got lucky that they played.
Oh, who side?
Florida got lucky they played Texas A&M.
What side?
When they did, and not when they played in December.
What side you on, man?
I'm on the truth. I'm on the truth.
What he had to do, man. Muschamp had a good defense. We had a great year that year.
That defense was nasty.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know, Nick. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he had some good numbers, great player. You know, nothing over the top. You know, same with Kyler Murray, Marcus Mariota, right? Like, there's been a lot of players that maybe haven't been on the best team or put up record-breaking stats that won the Heisman Trophy. I mean, if that's not the case, who do you have?
I don't know. You got to see the games play out. But the way I see the season playing out, I don't. The way I see Florida's season playing out, I don't think Emory gets in because of the way I see the season playing out. If Florida beats Alabama, if they beat Georgia, then yeah, I'm going to be wrong. Emory Jones will be in the Heisman conversation.
I don't think we have to beat those. I think we're going to beat Georgia regardless. That's what my projection. I got us beating Georgia because I think Georgia still buns, especially in the offense and the quarterback position. But we don't have to beat Bama for him to be a top 5 Heisman guy, I don't think. I think if we lose to Bama, even if we lose 2 games, I think he can put up the type of production, the type of stacks, make the type of plays. He got the guys around him. Dan Mullen's going to put him in position to put up good stats. I think the production will be there, man. I think he could be a top 5 guy, 7 guy around the area.
All right, Nick.
I could be wrong as well.
Let me ask you this. If Florida loses to Alabama, something similar they did in the SEC championship, let's say it's like 52-49, they lose to Georgia, 42 to 38 or whatever. It's just a hypothetical for Nick's world. You don't think that that's good enough? If he's able to put up 5 touchdowns in those games and Florida loses, you don't think that that's good enough?
I don't think he's putting up those numbers in those games. I don't think Florida's going to be as competitive as they were in the SEC championship this year against Alabama week 3.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm not going.
Now your take is shaping, right?
No. I'm predicting. I'm predicting very angry Florida fans after week 3. Like I don't think that game's going to be as close as it was the last time he played. Kind of like when McElwain went his first year to the SEC championship game, and the game was close, and you were up a little bit.
So Nick's take went from, I don't think Emory Jones will be in the competition because Florida's going to lose 2 to 3 games. And now it's, I don't think that Emory Jones is good enough, which could have been your original take at the beginning and we wouldn't still be here. But shout out to you for great content, Nick.
I like Dan Mullen to be a good enough of a game day actional guy for us to be in it with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this is no McElwain coming to anything. I think Dan Mullins is eyeballing that game right now. He got a game plan. I think Bama traditionally has always struggled with scrambling quarterbacks and mobile guys. I don't think that's going to change. I don't think they have any idea what they expect from our offense, and we have an advantage from that standpoint. Where it's at least going to be a game. I don't think we're going to get boat raced at all. It's going to be a football game for sure.
Yeah, very good. All right.
I'm almost ready to lie.
Is my take fueling your lie machine?
No, I'm telling the truth right now, but I'm getting
no. But I'm saying is my take what you guys think is
your
absurd,
negativity. Your negativity is driving me to be extra.
I'm just pouring gas in that lie machine right now. That's
all I know is Silk has made multiple trips over to the ATM to pull out more cash for his bets here.
I think he's got a third or a fourth mortgage. He's got an angel investor. The money he's spending on buy or sell, he's got someone in Silicon Valley investing in his company right now.
It'll pay off, man. It'll pay off. You'll see the results of this investing.
My CPA is like, Nick, you're doing great. You're buying on things you're really passionate about. Everything else you're letting go.
No, you're negative, bro.
Yeah.
I might. Maybe that's my role on the show. That's my role on the show.
I see it. All right, boys. Next buy or sell. Trey Dean came out a couple days ago, whatever it was, said that he thinks that he is the best safety in college football. Now, I don't want to say that.
You said you're ready to lie, Silk.
So here we are. Nick just sounded like a voice of God right there. So
I didn't know
I had to get real close to my mic.
I thought Cam was hopping in with some producer talk.
Me too. I was like, why he sounding all lusty? Is what I said.
You said you're ready to lie, Silk.
Next on stage is Rain Dancer. All right. So Trey Dean says that he is the best safety in college football. So the way that I'm going to do this buy or sell is there's obviously a lot of postseason awards that are given out. There's a lot of postseason All-American teams. So do you think that Trey Dean makes one of the postseason All-American teams at safety? Buy or sell?
Go first, Nick. Why are you trying to?
I'm sold. Sell. Okay. I sound like Kramer on MSNBC, whatever he's on. Sell.
You just need like a bull button to hit.
Yeah, just out. We're out on it.
All right, so Nick sells with no further explanation or anything else. He knew he backed himself into a corner. What?
Well, what are we even talking? He's one of the best 3 safeties in the country.
Well, no, he'd
Best
be one of
6
the best
safeties in the country.
safeties. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah. I'm not.
That'd be dope to see. I would love to watch that in person, but like right
So
now
you
where we're
sell.
sitting, sell.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'd
like
take
it.
Trey Dean if I'd be happy if he was a top 10 safety in the country right now. I like the hype of himself. I like the self-belief and you know what I'm saying, the all the confidence. You got to be your own biggest fan. I like all that, the energy, but yeah, I'm not buying it right now. I got to see something on film that show that, because right now I haven't seen a top 10 safety, let alone the best.
Correct. I'm going to sell. In fact, I don't even think that he's going to be the best safety for the Florida Gators this season.
Oh, you got to take?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Travis Johnson is going to be a better safety overall for the Gators this year if he plays safety. I know that they've got him at the star and other things else, but yeah, I think that there's some talented players in that backfield. I think that Rashard Torrance. I like Trey Dean. I do. I think that he improved a lot last year,
man. Yeah,
but,
for sure.
He definitely did better. I don't have him as the best safety in college football. I do not have him as a top 6 safety in college football. I don't have him. I have him right now, but I think at the end of the season that he will be passed as the best safety.
And that's not like a knock. You're not being
No.
Like, how many safeties are there in college football? There's
a lot.
Over 1,000. If you're thinking about all the teams, like, it's not a knock to say, hey, you're not one of the best 6. But I'm with Silk.
Dan got him number 2 to a guy
on the team. Dan's got number 2 on a guy that played 80 snaps last year.
To a guy that may not even play safety.
Yeah.
I know. I said that he may not be at the end of the season. This is my take.
I respect
that.
it.
I think that there is some more athletic players that are going to play the safety position. I think, unfortunately for the Gators, that they're going to really have to turn it on the defensive line. And I'm going to really need to see some talent after those linebacker groups, because Florida, they've got some question marks at that second cornerback position. I think a lot of teams are going to try to throw the ball on Florida. I think that Florida's going to be a solid, if not good to great offense. So I think a lot of teams are going to be playing catch up, but I think a lot of balls are going to be thrown. And, I would love to see some ball hawking, safeties. In fact, I bought that they would have, more than 14 interceptions this upcoming season. But I don't know. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of things that have to fall, in line for Trey Dean to be, a top safety. But I like some of these younger guys coming up.
Yeah, I don't buy him being an All-American, but I'm with Silk. That's how you have to have that kind of mentality if you're a Division I college player. You have to have that self-belief in, hey, I am the best one, even if 3 guys like us are sitting in our house just saying absolutely not. You have to have that belief in yourself.
Yeah. Do you think that he's a top 6 safety in the SEC? You think he makes one of those postseason All SEC teams?
Yes.
I think he does by name recognition only.
I think he does
not only. I'm sorry. I think
after what I've told you guys last week about how the All SEC gets voted on, and how there's how kind of people are like, oh yeah, willy nilly. I think yes by name recognition. I think he might be the 3rd team though. I would love to see him on the 1st team. Like I'm saying, I like watching good football. I would love to see him.
I don't think they're just giving out those safety positions. SEC 1st team, 2nd team, 3rd team, usually dogs. I think you got to put some production and have a gaudy season to get in that category. I don't think just names gonna do it. So right now I don't have him in it. I hope I'm wrong. I like the way he ended last season. I think he has the potential to turn his last season into a Marcus May last season and jump up some draft boards. He has that athletic abilities, but he got to put it all together. We got to see it. Right now, I ain't believing it. I got to see it.
Yeah, I have 2 Gator safeties. I have Rashard Torrance and Trey Dean, both receiving postseason All-American honors not All-American, All SEC honors. There's my take. Put on TikTok, Alex. All right, Alec. All right. Right.
Go and get your lies off, Dan.
That'll get us the
Put
follows.
on TikTok, Alec.
Dan shitty takes to get us the follows.
That's
right.
a new segment. If you want to sponsor Dan's shitty takes of the week, let us know.
Nick, that's wild coming from a guy that didn't even have a take formulated.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Following the leader
That is
here.
wild for you, Nick.
I get it. There's a sponsor that probably wants to sponsor me, and I get a sponsor not wanting to get behind you.
I'll let you have this, guys. I know you got on me for my take, but when it becomes true at the end of the year, I won't rub it in the way that you guys have rubbed this in tonight. I will be humble in my correct sell of Emory Jones being
Nick's crappy takes are going to get sponsored by like dude wipes, like those things that you wipe your butt with after you poop. That's what you get it. All right,
money.
All right,
He gave you the dudes white sponsorship. That's nuts, man.
Are they paying?
I mean,
I don't know.
I hope so, man.
I want to do that ad read. Yeah, dude wipes. I've got a great segment for you to sponsor.
Oh my God! You think Manscaped ad reads are fire? Give me dude wipes.
Just wiping up my weekly takes.
Somebody got to clean them up.
I love it. All right. So right now the Gators on the 247 composite are ranked 27th in this year's recruiting class with 11 commitments. Buy or sell the Gators. I think we've done this already. We have a little bit more information now. Buy or sell the Gators end up with a top 8. So that includes number 8 recruiting class in the country.
Sell it. I'm selling. I think right top 8 class you need. We're gonna need a couple 5 stars. I'm not buying on these guys being able to close and do what they got to do, man. We're probably gonna be out of the top 10 the way they're recruiting right now.
Oh, Vandy's ahead of Florida right now. Vandy.
I'm not worried about that. The games gotta get played. I understand what's going on a little bit. We gotta be a little bit more selective with who we grab. So they got a lot more quantity than we have right now. You know?
Yeah.
I just don't have us at top 8. Some of the guys, like, you just need some 5 stars. That's where it's at right now to be in that top 8, and I don't see us getting more than one of them.
Give me something to buy, Dan, because this is a sell too.
Would you hold on one second, Nick, before you get into your nonsense here? Silk, would you have a top 10, top 11?
I think we're right outside the top 10 like we always are, between 10 and 13-ish.
All right, Nick. Time for the dude wipe segment.
No, it's just a sell. It's an easy sell. That's an easy sell.
An easy sell. All right.
Easy sell.
All right, perfect. Well, since you don't want to back that up with anything, I'm going to buy. I'm going to have the Gators ending up 7 or 8. I think that they're in it for a couple guys. I think that you're going to have a commitment that they have now rise the ranks to see a guy like Nick Evers climbing quite a bit. I think you get a guy like Evan Stewart. I think you get some other names in here. I think that that's going to attract some other folks. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's going to represent, a top to bottom great class. If you remember a few years ago, Bill Sykes and get into this argument that just because you're a top 8 or just because you have a certain number of 5 stars that are committed, that means that class is, a rock star class. I think that the Gators, really need to figure out what they're doing on the offensive, line. I think that there's some other positions of need that they're going to miss on. But, I think that the Gators end somewhere around 7 or 8 this season in recruiting. I think that they're going to be able to get some big names, and those big names are going to attract some other folks. So I'm going to buy that one.
In my opinion, we'll get to the next take real quick, but if Evan Stewart is a guy you got to get now, I don't think we win that battle. The further that goes out, same thing with Nolan. The guys with that, I think we could have, in my opinion, early in the recruiting season, that we could finish with a top 5 class if we land those guys before the season start. With those guys prolonging their stuff on, I'm pushing us outside of the top 10 because history has told me with this staff, the longer recruitment goes, the worse things get. We can't close right now. So right now I got us outside the top 10 for those reasons because we can't close on Stewart or Nolan. And I think those are valuable guys to make us like a top 8 class. Yeah.
The crazy thing is with like some of the Muschamp classes, you'd be like, oh, well, Florida just did better on the field. They would, recruit even better. And those classes were even better than what we're seeing right now. Florida's had so much success on the field. Why is that not parlaying into getting more success? So it's not even like, all right, well, maybe Florida has a good year on the field and Evan Stewart, commits to Florida. It's like, I'm a Silk. Like, you should have pressed the issue when he was on campus or press the issue within the next month. And it's not like, all right, well, let's wait until October and let's see what he's feeling then. I don't know. I think Florida is probably in for, like what Silk said, like a 12 ranking feels like where they end to me. just outside of the buy sell there.
Yeah, a couple quick notes, and then I want to get your thoughts on this. We read a study the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that said the average NIL deal so far has been worth about $930. I think that there's some big numbers that probably skew that one way or another, but I thought that was interesting. About a month in, we're averaging about $930 per NIL deal. For all intents and purposes, as we can tell, college football still exists. But this is something that I wanted to talk to you about. And this is a little buy or sell segment. I got two non-Florida Gators buy or sell topics for you guys. Quinn Ewers, who was the number one ranked 247 player in the country, quarterback out of Texas, has announced that he's going to forego his senior year of high school and is going to enroll at Ohio State here shortly. He's going to take an online class to get his eligibility in, and then he's going to be joining. So I think it's a little too early to come up with something this season, but Silk, buy or sell next season. So for that class of 2023, you have more than 10 players forego their senior year in search of either NIL money, enrolling early, not wanting to injure themselves, trying to capitalize on money elsewhere, assuming that everything stays the same.
Yeah, that's assuming that everything's the same. I think eventually they're gonna change the rules. 10 is a lot. I'm gonna sell 10.
Okay.
I think 10 is a lot. I think you get around like 5 or 6 guys that may do that. I think once like the big brands like Nike, Gatorade, Adidas, those guys get into the game, then you'll have more. Right now, there's not enough big dogs. I know the big dogs like those brands are just waiting to let everything settle down and see what these kids' true value is. But right now, I give me about like 5 or 6, not 10. 10's a lot.
Okay.
So foregoing your senior year is probably the sticking point for me, because with football, hey, if I'm Nick Ewers, I can play my senior year of football and then take a deal in December after the state championship game. And all right, well, now I'm ineligible for the spring of my senior year, but I'm not playing basketball. I'm not playing baseball, so I don't care. I think that's when you'll get more people, leaving or starting to take advantage of NIL, but I don't think you'll see a lot of people. I think I'll sell on the 10 for skipping their senior year of football, but I think you'll see more people do it and start taking deals after their senior season. Also, like what Silk said with Gatorade, which is Pepsi, but Nike, Adidas, these bigger brands, they know the benefit of putting either money or product into social media influencers. They've been doing it for years now. Yeah. If you've got a guy, like I mentioned with Evan Stewart, he's got 4 million followers on TikTok. People on TikTok are getting paid 6 figures to do a brand deal on a single TikTok. Yeah. People with 4 or 5 million followers on Instagram are getting paid 6 figures to do a story and saying, hey, look, HelloFresh sent me this, and this is how easy it is to make a dinner. And it's 5 30-second clips on a story that disappears in 24 hours, and they're getting 6 figures for that. So there's the money's there. I just think that once those bigger brands, like Silk said, figure out what is the draw for a 5-star quarterback or a 5-star running back or one of the top recruits, what is the draw and what is going to be our return on investment, I think you're going to start seeing bigger numbers to those guys, which will eventually lead them to saying, hey, my senior year of high school football doesn't matter. Screw a state championship. I'm getting paid $1 million by Pepsi to do this ad run for them even before I get to college. So I'll sell on this year at 10, but I think it's coming because I think like we've been saying, I think there's some bigger corporations that can kind of throw around life-changing money. They're kind of still feeling the waters and seeing how all this stuff plays out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy. I think I'm going to buy that you're going to start to see more players forego. I think Silk made a good point. I think that you made a good point. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity for these kids to be able to make a lot of money. And I think that, some of these kids that maybe don't need the reps, maybe they go to a smaller school, maybe they're already dominating, who they're playing against. You have an opportunity to make a bunch of money. And you just never know, if you're a guy that's, really well known and doing really well, when that might end and when that opportunity for, even if it's 15 minutes, 15 seconds,
Yeah.
15 TikToks worth of fame, whatever it is, the opportunity to strike. And I think that's where you're going to start to see more. And I don't even know if it's going to be the biggest name. I think the Quinn Ewers is obviously a slightly different situation. Not a lot of kids are in a position to be able to graduate after their junior year. But I also wouldn't be surprised if you didn't start to seeing some parlaying of this thought process into, the way that some of these kids build their schedules, whether it's through additional classes or a virtual school or, doing something else that puts these kids in a position that if they don't have to, they can capitalize on their name and likeness before they go, and they build themselves a brand. And, who knows what they can do. But if somebody's willing to pay you now, that's tough to be able to say, hey, I don't want it now. And you have to really bet on yourself. I mean, you talked about Judge Fabian earlier, right?
State-by-state basis, though. So, like, the FHSAA came out and said, if you accept any money for NIL, you're going to lose a year of eligibility. And if I'm a 5-star quarterback committed to the University of Florida before my senior year, now in my head, the decision is, well, what do I value a state championship as? Have I won one before? Are we trying to win back-to-back?
Right.
What do I value that as versus what are they paying me? And, hey, is the state championship worth $1.5 million? Because that's what I can make from these 3 different companies. And then, hey, I've already got my future set up. I'm a 5-star. I'm committed. I've got this. And I've talked to the coaches. Hey, I'm not going to play my senior year. Yo, we're cool with that. We're getting to that point. So right now, I just don't think that the money is crazy enough that you'll drive kids away from wanting to play their last year of high school. Because if you can put yourself back in senior year high school, Dan, hey, if we can win a hockey state championship this year, or I can give you $980 to, pump dude wipes, you're like, oh, I'll try to win a state championship this year.
I think it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be more like what we're seeing now. That's for the 5-star kids that could push like real big brands.
If you got that following, you're getting 6 figures for these brand deals, and then that's
kids gonna say
different money.
I'm cool, right? Yeah, and I think that money's right there. I don't think we're far away from all of that. Like, and I don't think it takes like even the big brands. Like, I think it takes like if Bama's grabbing all the 5-stars, right? Clemson, like the big dogs are grabbing these kids, and those boosters have money. Bama boosters, Clemson boosters, Georgia boosters. It don't take Nike and Adidas and Gatorade to even get that off. It just takes some boosters with the right company that could just fund this, and the kid just say, yo, I'm going to shut it down and train with some pro trainers for the next year.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you think of Evan Stewart. You said he had 4 million followers on TikTok?
I think it's north of 4 on TikTok, and he's like over 1.5 on Instagram. So like he's at the point where he can get 6-figure deals on either platform.
All right, so let's take him, for example. There's a lot of people that follow like Evan Stewart or whomever, right? Huge TikTok following. There's obviously a lot of fans that follow him for his – he has 2 million fans on TikTok. So obviously a bunch of people know him from football and everything else. There's a lot of rabid college football fans that are out there, but there's also a lot of people that are out there that don't follow football or follow his content because they want to follow him as a person. And that's where I start to think. I mean, Silk, you mentioned it, about some of these big companies or some of these schools, but I think about it. Even smaller brands, you're able to get $10,000 here, $5,000 there, $15,000 there. You shout out HelloFresh or GoDaddy or whatever it is. They don't have to be the world's biggest names, but you start to get that, and all of a sudden you're talking about a couple $100,000 just because you have the eyeballs. It doesn't even matter who you are, Evan Stewart, the person. You have the eyeballs to put you in front of someone.
That's all that matters. People keep talking about production and all the other stuff. What matters is building your brand, your following, and companies just see value in that. These companies probably don't even watch football, right? They don't know like who's performing well and all this stuff. If I'm like Dude Wipes, I just see this guy got 1 million followers and like 10% of them people may go buy whatever he says. I want him and like advertise and work with him. I don't care if how many interceptions he got or if he's about to get drafted.
Yeah, absolutely. So
he's an influencer. That's what it's called. It's about influencer. It ain't just about playing ball. That's what likeness is about. It's like selling your likeness in all fashions.
Yeah, and it's probably not a huge investment either, right?
No, and
Right.
that's what I was saying about the people who are like, "Oh, this is gonna be pay for play." I'm like, you don't understand. Like these are like the old heads. Like you don't understand social media and the
Right.
influence that people who have these followings on social media have. This isn't like, hey, we want the top 5-star kid to come to our school. Here's $500,000. Wear this T-shirt for me. Like these are brands, legitimate brands, going to people who have curated an
Right.
audience for themselves around their personalities, and they're saying, "Hey, we want to use you and what you've done in your audience to help our brand."
Correct.
And that's how you get the twins from I think it was Arizona, the twin basketball players who got like the $2 million deal from T-Mobile right away.
That's why people keep talking about production and these kids need to
No,
be
that's not
good.
it. It's not it. Like that
Not
can
at
help.
all.
That can help. That's why I don't
Of
believe for a
course.
second. I don't believe for a second that Bryce Young, the kid from Alabama, and I get that Alabama's quarterback is a prestigious position. I don't believe for a second that he had a 7-figure deal like Nick Saban said he did. But you know what Nick Saban did? Oh, our quarterback got a 7-figure deal. He hasn't even played a game yet. And what does that do? Oh, it tells everyone else around the country, oh, Alabama's quarterback who hasn't even played yet got a 7-figure deal just because he's at Alabama.
I'm be honest. I believe him.
I don't believe it for a second. I think that's Nick Saban recruiting.
Do you think the kids believe him?
No, because
Of course the kids believe that.
The kids in the locker room with Bryce, hey, did you get a 7-figure deal? He's like, no, bro, I didn't get that. He's not going to lie about $1 million deal.
The recruits are going to believe
yes,
that.
Yes, the recruits believe it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Nick Saban did that as a recruiting tool.
Right.
And the comment is believable, right? Which is the most important.
Yeah, sure it is. It doesn't have to be believable. Because if Nick Saban says it, every media outlet in Alabama reposts it, and then everyone else starts reposting that, and then all of a sudden it's on ESPN. Any 16-year-old watching ESPN goes, wait, Alabama guy?
No, I get it. How many retweets did the Bryce Young is getting $1 million get compared to Bryce Young saying, "Oh, I'm not getting $1 million." Like 20 to 1, right? So like the idea that it's now out there now makes it believable, and
that's what I'm saying. Nick, I don't believe for a second that that's an actual deal that was offered to him, but Nick Saban said it, and now it's gospel. Now it's canon.
But I also don't believe that it's not something that could happen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a little chess as well. I mean, that's also a way of like, of course, talking to the recruits, talking to your boosters, telling media, and not shying away from players getting paid. Regardless, like these young kids love him talking about maybe it's one of his bench riders that's not even started getting $1 million. That raises my ears as I'm 16, 17 years old. We got other coaches scared to talk about NIL altogether. Yeah. We're trying to figure it out. So that's two totally different tones. If I'm a recruit, I hear one coach say, "Yo, yeah, one of my guys got $1 million," and the next coach say, "Well, we're all trying to figure it out. We don't know what's going on." Bro, $1 million sound better than I don't know what's going on, and we're trying to figure it out.
Yep. All right. Last fireside. I think that was a really good segment, guys. Good job. Last segment. Last week, we talked about it on the show. OU and Texas are leaving the Big 12. They're coming over due to a 14-0 vote to join the SEC at some point in the next couple of years. All right. So with that being said, OU, Texas, let's just say they join in 2025 because that's kind of what has been talked about. I think they come over earlier. Do you think that OU or Texas will win the SEC in their first 5 years?
No. It's too physical of a league. Texas is buns, first of all. They got a lot to do it. Like that. Texas has nowhere winning. I think it's too physical of a league, and I think Oklahoma's gonna realize that when they step foot into the SEC, that it's a bloodbath every week. It's no finesse football and just like shootouts. So I think they got some readjustment to do.
So they don't win the SEC. Do you have them potentially winning their division? I don't know what division they're in.
Yeah, we don't even know what divisions will even.
I don't know what it's going to look like, pods, whatever. But
I just think it's too physical of a league, and they're going to have to adjust for the first 4 or 5 years. I think, in my opinion.
All right.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an adjustment period because you got to start changing stuff up. You got to figure out how to actually play defense and recruit defense. I'll sell that too. I haven't bought anything today.
No,
I'll sell that. They're not going to.
No.
I don't see them winning it anytime soon. I mean, Nick Saban just signed a
frugal,
deal.
my boy. I ain't gonna lie to you,
Yeah.
my boy. You frugal.
I think Nick
I'm
thinks that his
stacking.
actual
I've got-
dollars.
Yeah, he
are
think it's a
coming
real
out.
bank account.
Wait, we're not doing Venmo for these.
No, it ain't my real
Okay.
bread. I'll again stop buying.
But no, this is not the one I'm buying on, man. Even with that new information, I don't have to spend my actual real American dollars on this. Still not buying on this. I mean, Missouri won the East twice when they first came in.
Yep.
But we were talking a little bit before off air. Like you get into pods, and you kind of doing stuff like this, and what does even a division look like, and how do you get to the SEC championship game? So no, I think like Silk said, it's a different brand of football, that something that they're not used to, and something it takes time to recruit and to get those players into your system to change the way you're playing, and that doesn't happen quickly.
All right. I'm gonna sell as well, which leads me to another question. I mean, the same logic you guys have. All right. I want to ask you guys on the last topic of the show today. You add Oklahoma, you add Texas, you have 16 teams. You're gonna have two divisions of 8, which would make it very, very hard in the way that the SEC does their scheduling now. There's the pod idea that's been thrown around. Which do you guys prefer? And what pod do you think that Florida, if that's the direction you guys want to go, which pod do you think Florida should make up? And then finally, 3-part question here. How do you think they should determine who goes to the SEC championship then?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't grasp all what's going on with all this pod stuff.
Okay.
So I can't really put us in different pods to try to figure out how they put us in the SEC championship. Like, I'm a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was asking Nick pre-show. Do we have because I don't understand it.
So right now the SEC only has 8 conference games, and if you put right now there's 7 teams, so that gives you 6 games already. Now if you add 2 teams, now there's 7. You only have 1. If you kept divisions, you would have 7 East games a year, and then you would only play right now LSU would be Florida's only West game. So the common thought now is you would go to 9 SEC games. So you'd play your 7 in your division, and then you'd have 2 crossovers. Or you can go to pods, and then you've got 4 divisions of 4, north, south, east, west. Each of them have 4. You play your pod 3 games once, and then
NFL.
And then the other 6 games you're playing other people. And that way you're playing more people from the West. Now, the way you would think about it now is the West. You're playing more people from the West. You're playing more people from other pods.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't know. So I that to me makes total sense. I just don't know how you would get to an SEC championship game, because you're not going to add an extra game. You're not going to say, all right, well, the 4 winners of the pods get to play into a play-in game to the SEC championship. You're like, listen. We're already playing 12 games. Now that's 13, then 14. Then you might have extra games. You can't do that.
I think the game get killed and you just win it by like regular season play, like the playoffs, like NFL.
You would have to just take the top 2 teams.
Yeah, I think it just goes by like I say, regular season play, like the NFL does, and that's how you win your pod. I would say.
What I really want to know from both of you is what 4 teams would you have in Florida's pod? So that's the only way you guarantee the Gators are playing these teams, these 3 teams Kentucky, every year.
Vanderbilt,
and Mississippi State.
That's your pod. Nailed it.
Missouri.
Yeah, give me don't ask me to pick the pod. I'm gonna have an easy pod.
Kentucky, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Florida. I love it.
I get
make it a Big East. Make it a Big East like pod, and I could brag like Miami with 5 rings real quick. You know, if I get that Big East pod.
Silk's like, all right, well, all of a sudden Iowa State is in the SEC.
Right,
they're in Florida's pod. Citadel is also in the SEC. They're in Florida's pod, and FIU.
That's Florida. The SEC is missing a real military connection, not the Texas A&M one. So I think the Citadel would fit perfectly in the SEC.
I'm not mad at it. We used to play them a lot.
So here's my 4. I don't think you can leave Georgia out. I think Georgia has to be in Florida's pod if you're doing pods. So I've got UF, Georgia, Tennessee, because I think I love that rivalry, and Kentucky, because I think you had to throw in
we could win that pod.
A lesser team. So that's my pod for Florida. My pod would be UF, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, which takes out the LSU game every year.
Yeah, I don't.
No, don't we still got to play teams outside the pod?
You would, but it wouldn't be every year because
Or it
not
rotates.
because so like that gives you 3 games. You only get 6 more, but there's what 9 more teams. So you're not going to play every single team in the SEC. So you wouldn't play LSU every year. You'd play them eventually. Play them every 3 years.
Yeah, this pod idea throws off a lot when you think of traditional ways of doing.
But if you're going to go to that, you have to think Alabama and Tennessee, both fan bases, even though Tennessee hasn't won that in over a decade, they want that game. That's a 100-year rivalry. So you have to put Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee in a pod together.
Yeah, I think that makes sense more so than a Florida-Tennessee pod. I think that rivalry is more historic. I think that Alabama also has a little bit more leeway to be able to kind of call that shot if they want right now. I think my pod would be Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and
you already gave him a cupcake.
No, I know. And then I'm trying to think geographically what you can do. So I start to think of the way that they've already done some of these like games that I know are already going to happen, like Auburn, Alabama's already going to happen every year. So I wouldn't be surprised if like
Texas, Oklahoma is going to happen every year.
Yeah, it's going to happen every year. So I would say maybe throw Auburn, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. That'd be a hell of a pod.
Auburn has to be with Alabama. You have to have the Iron Bowl.
Well, they can still play. You can still you can still have a fixed cross.
So you would have a pod with a fixed. Okay, that could work. Then in my system, you could still have Tennessee playing Alabama if Alabama and Auburn were in the same pod, and you could still have Florida playing LSU even though they're not in the same pods.
Yeah, no,
we've lost.
So they could also make it very.
We've entered Allen in The Hangover playing blackjack, and there's just numbers flying around. Silk's just not getting.
But this is another thing: is I think that we made them all geographic. But what if you didn't make them geographic at all, right? I mean, the SEC is trying to play into this word nationwide thing. Like, what if you had a pod of Florida, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, something like that. That's, more, it brings people in from different regions into all different games. That way you don't have just the Missouri fans that are watching SEC games, like focused on their area in that St. Louis market. And now all of a sudden you have these like regional areas these non-regional areas, this geographical, pod that gets your big fan bases that you want, which is the SEC's draw, more involved. I'm still cooking that take a little bit. I just thought of it.
No, I can see that because, we're not talking about – this is in the 1940s when you're worried about travel. Like, listen, they're flying, on tiny private jets to College Station, not worrying about travel. I get that. I just think that there's so much already built-in tradition with these regional matchups that you would lose some of that. And if you're going 9 games, that means you've got 6 from the other – what is this? We got
3 pods.
You have 8, 16. So you have 6 from the other 3 pods. Can you afford to do in all of the scenarios I've seen, when they go to 9, it doesn't give you a yearly opponent, a yearly fixed like Florida LSU right now. But maybe, we're probably a couple of years away from having to figure it out. I just think it's fun to try to.
Are we?
Place 4. I think it'll be. I don't know if it'll make it to 2025, but I think we have at least this season and next season without Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC.
I think next season is our last season without them, bro. I don't shit going past. I think some things get changed. I was watching Twitter. That thing was on the Senate table or something.
Yeah, listen, buddy. Listen, Texas and Oklahoma, they ain't going to mess around. When Texas A&M was trying to leave, that went to like the House, the state Senate, and they were arguing about them leaving there. This is going to be it's going to be argued, but at the end of the day, their best case scenario is those 2 teams stick around until 2025.
Right.
So, like, what are you really arguing for? You're arguing for 2 more years of a rental.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I had no idea.
Could there be a possibility buyout? Like, is there a way a program could probably just be like, yo, what's the buyout? And we leave like right now, or the SEC?
Well, the buyout right now, if they wanted to leave and come into the SEC this year, would be $75 million. And literally that would be 1 year of or like a year and a half of revenue that the SEC shares. So like when that number
75
came,
total or 75?
75 for each school.
So
Each school.
$150 million.
Right, but then the schools last year got like $42 million from the SEC revenue share.
Yeah, but I think that
then they also got another 20. Then they also got another $29 million in COVID relief. So that's almost paying that entire tab in cash in year one. And then when you switch from CBS.
But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You have a bunch of schools. No, I mean, like you have obviously your Florida, Alabama. So you have some of these big programs where that money is like icing, on the cake. You have a lot of other schools, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Missouri, that count on that money. So for them to just throw that away, it is not as easy. I mean, Vanderbilt builds in that money to be a profitable athletic organization. Mm-hmm. You take that money away from them and a number of these other schools, I just don't know, especially with the way these schools were hit with COVID and everything else. Like, yes, they got a bunch of money from COVID relief, but I don't think it's as easy as just saying, hey, guys, like for 1 year, just like, hey, just throw us a bone here. I just don't know if I see that. Because the deal doesn't change in a year. So that's why I don't think that there's going to be a rush. Like the SEC isn't going to be like, oh, instead of paying you $400 million, we're going to pay you $700 million, right?
Well, no, but that entirely changes in 3 years when the ESPN deal takes over. So SEC on CBS is getting $55 million a year right now. So in 2024, when that takes over, so a year before Texas and Oklahoma can leave, the CBS deal runs out. They're getting $55 million. CBS is a thief getting the SEC rights for $55 million. SEC is going to pay, or ESPN is going to pay the SEC over $300 million a year, up from 55. So for me, it doesn't make sense. Like what you were saying, and I agree with you. It doesn't make sense for Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and some of these other schools to say yes, come over early, and we'll just share this small pie. But the pie quadruples in a couple of years, and then you're like, yeah, no, we're all eating, we're all happy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it.
Because if you're a profitable athletic organization on 1/14 of $55 million from CBS, you're super profitable on 1/16 of $300 million.
Well, no, I get ESPN. That. No, I think you and I are talking about different things. Like I think that I was saying that I don't see them trying to buy out Texas or Oklahoma sooner.
I don't think the SEC would have. I think Oklahoma and Texas, if they wanted to press the issue, would have been like, "Listen, we're gonna make that money. We'll be fine." Both of those schools, those aren't schools like Texas has the money to pay that in cash right now. Like, yeah, here you go. Here's your $75 million. We're gone. Oklahoma may or may not. I don't know, but they're not. Oklahoma's not a school like a Vanderbilt that's counting on that kind of stuff. I think they could have made the move. And my point initially was they would make that buyout back within a year and a half, 2 years of being in the SEC. So like the buyout isn't an issue. I think what they're really trying to avoid now is litigation to make it seem like they weren't working through back channels and back doors with the SEC to make this thing happen.
Yeah, the Big 12 commissioner sent a cease and desist letter to ESPN. ESPN responded back, there's nothing to cease and desist. So I think we're only getting to the beginning of everything that's going to go on. But looking forward to Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC. I think those will be fun games. Silk, any more thoughts before we get to a Manscaped ad read?
No, man. I love it. That was a great segment, man. We've been podding today a little bit, man.
We got over 2 hours now.
Great content. Action-packed.
Now we're about to talk about your balls and how hot it is outside.
Oh, that's the vibes, Nick. You know you're excited. Fellas,
why am I excited?
Fellas, I don't know why you're excited, Nick, but fellas, I don't know if you guys know, but 90%, 96% of all partners think bad grooming is a major turnoff. 85% of partners prefer men that are groomed below the waist. 91% of men think grooming is essential to their success. Probably porn stars, but nonetheless, 91% of them think that. You got to groom your balls, man, if you want to be great in life. That's the overall message. If you want 20% off on the Lawnmower 4.0, which is waterproof, snag-proof, skin-safe technology. It's not snagging your balls, no cuts. no snags. You put that deodorant on, it's not gonna sting because you ain't got no cuts, no snags. Coupon code SG at checkout for 20% off, free shipping. Take care of them balls.
I love it. Man. I don't know why Dude Wipes wouldn't want to sponsor us even after
You're
that.
not taking care of just your balls. You're taking care of that special person in your life as well.
That's right.
The significant other facts should have sold any of you fellas, man. If you don't care about your lady and what she thinks about your balls, then what are we doing here?
We're checking Dan's facts. No need to check Silk's facts. Those are straight facts. We got them.
Yeah. Those were way too specific for Silk to make up.
96.832% of significant others say.
I read all this on Manscaped's website, so if I'm not lying, they're lying. If it's a lie,
big lies. Who cares?
Oh man,
regardless.
Silk, it's your time for Song of the Week, but before we do that, again, check out homefieldapparel.com. Promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout. 15% off. You spend more than $70, you get free shipping. Great stuff. Thanks for your support. Check out prizepicks.com, promo code SG, get a dollar for dollar match up to $100. And then obviously manscaped.com, promo code SG at checkout. And then finally, none other than our great friend, Greg Brunt. Visit bruntinsurance.com for all of your insurance needs. From Milton to Melbourne to Marathon.
I'm gonna take us out with a little bit of Zach Alberverdi, man. Why not, man? You know what I'm saying? He dropped the gas video. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it going. Let's get my man Zach knock on wood, man. This is how I'm feeling these days, bro.
That's a jam.
Already. Same corner, same time.
You know the vibes.
Already.
See you boys next week.